Good morning, beautiful souls. Happy Saturday. It's week 36. Tim in the woods. I am presenting my ascension update. I just want to show you my companion here, this tree. It's quite an incredible creature. Don't know whether the camera actually does the tree justice. But back in 2012 or early 2013, this beautiful tree, which is well over 100 years old, fell. It fell to the ground with the most incredible and resounding crash. I felt it from my house some distance away, and came down to investigate and was very sorry to see that the tree had fallen over, and thought that was the end of it, you know. But after hundreds of years of standing upright and holding the energies, witnessing and seeing everything that's going on all around us, it was time to take a rest. But what amazed me was that I came out down here a couple of seasons later to find that the tree hadn't given up, it hadn't died, it had continued to flourish and to grow leaves and just continue living life at a different perspective, horizontally. But all above me are leaves and branches that have freshly grown. I'm just in honour and awe of this particular tree. And I think if you go back through my YouTube videos, I climbed into the branches in 2015 and did a video on the solar plexus, back when I was working with the solar plexus chakra on a regular basis, talking about the concept of fear to love. But the trees communicate with each other worldwide. We know that already. If there is information that is occurring, say in the UK, the tree network, the roots that are all interconnected around the world will all know about it. They'll all be communicating, very much like the artificial representation of that we have, known as the internet. You're watching me, you know, wherever you are in the world, via the power of the internet, whether you believe that it's used for the powers of light or for dark or for good or for bad purposes, that is irrelevant. The fact is that we have this tool, and it has enabled us to be in communication when our personal powers of or abilities to communicate with each other on a psychic level, like the trees do, are not quite yet up to scratch. And this is something that I want to look at and talk about this morning, because again, as with everything that's occurred this year, I feel that it is incredibly significant. I talk about the fall of Atlantis a lot, because the fall of Atlantis happened a remarkably short period of time ago. It happened 10,000 years ago, which on an earthly level is not very long ago, is it? And the dramatic goings on at the fall of Atlantis are very much still affecting what we are doing here on Earth today. In fact, we are, for want of a better word, actually replaying a scenario that happened at the fall over and over again, and have been throughout history for the last 10,000 years up to the now point. It's almost like everything is coming to a conclusion, a crux. And something very significant happened in a workshop that I was running recently. On the 5th of September, I ran a workshop with my lovely friend Alice Heath, and we took a journey, and it's a journey that I've guided many times before, into the Temple of Poseidon, the Cathedral of the Sacred Heights. And the purpose of that journey previously has been to retrieve gifts, to retrieve information, to meet up with, say, maybe Serapis Bay, receiving the white flame, speaking to the amethyst crystal skull, which was the primary skull of Atlantis. There were 13 crystal skulls. There were 12 carved in quartz that belonged to each of the 12 tribes. And then there was a master skull, a primary skull, so to speak, carved of amethyst, where all of the collective information was placed into this amethyst skull at the fall. And in many times, in many cases, those of us who remember their Atlantean lives, maybe identify with that aspect of their soul personality, have communicated consciously and unconsciously with both the Great Crystal of Atlantis, but more particularly the amethyst skull, because the amethyst skull is where all of the information was placed at the fall and almost taken into the safest of keeping to make sure that it never falls into the wrong hands again. So all around us at the moment, we see and hear and feel and witness and experience the same set of circumstances and the same almost kind of actors or, you know, supervillains playing out their roles as we did at the fall. They've eluded the wheel of karma and reincarnation up to the now point. This is the final incarnation for all of us. This is our master lifetime. It is also the end of the Atlantean experiment, where everything that occurs during that period of time concludes and we rebuild at a higher level, which is something that we've been doing now for 10 years. We've been constructing the foundation of the next golden era, which we are well on the way to stepping into. But in order to do that, in order to make that shift, to make the jump, to step into our roles at a level even higher than the Atlanteans did previously, we have to clear what we have carried into this lifetime. We have to step above the constrictions, the constraints and the matrix imprisonment that has been existing around this planet as a learning platform for the last 10,000 years. And the significant occurrence that occurred in the workshop and therefore the visit to the Temple of Poseidon was the removal of the Atlantean collar. Okay, now this is something that has interested me and something that I've worked upon since 2015. And the Atlantean collar is one of the most almost physical impairments that we left the fall of Atlantis with. If you think about what happened at the fall, the continent went below the waves, however it went below the waves. Many of us escaped, many of us didn't, but those of us that went out into the world had to do so from a point and perspective, energetically and physically, that everybody else living on the planet had at the time. So we went from 12 chakras, which we were thoroughly engaged with. We had mastered the 12 chakras during the golden era of Atlantis. And we had 5 of them basically put out of commission. We lost the use temporarily of the stellar gateway, the soul star, the causal, the navel chakra, and the earth star. All of those chakras that we are now using on a daily basis and have been since 2014, but they were taken out of commission so that we became more earthly or more earthbound, immersed into the matrix, that we could learn and we could grow and we could experience at a 3D level. That was our agreement. We agreed to experience that. But one of the things that we were all very resistant to, and with good reason, was the collars that were placed around the throat. So I am speaking to you now using my throat chakra. The throat chakra harmonizes via a combination of energetic constructions. So with the throat chakra, I'm speaking via the heart. I'm speaking via the third eye, I'm speaking via the crown, the stellar gateway, the soul star, the causal, if I'm bringing in that divine feminine pure white light energy. All of these kind of get mixed in and projected through the voice. The voice is one of the most powerful tools that we have on this planet now. It was previously, if the words were crafted from a point of love, but words and language have also been one of the biggest distortions on Earth. Okay, if you think about the languages that we were born into in 3D, the words that have been altered to suit the laws of those that would seek to control others, words that no longer mean what they originally spoke, what they are actually intended to represent, the distortion and the disruption of these light templates as they were placed into a spoken word have become something that we live with on a day-to-day basis and haven't really been noticing up until now, until we are required to speak from the heart. We are required to speak with truth, with love, with clarity, with precision, with honor. All of these things are now very much coming into play, because in order to adhere with the vibration that we wish to move into in the fifth dimension, everything has to align with that frequency. And this amazing occurrence happened in the Temple of Poseidon during the workshop with Alice. We took the journey in and met for the first time in a long, long time a lady who represented the Magi, formerly known as the Dark Magi at the fall of Atlantis, who originally worked for the light to hold the energy, to create, to provide services of alchemy that would be for the higher benefit of the entire collective rather than the selfish wills of individual people. And it was an emotional reunion because she handed back the key to the Atlantean Collar, because the Magi were responsible for activating this collar that was placed around the throat chakra at the fall. It was them that actually collectively did this. Every soul that left Atlantis, and therefore everybody that held a frequency of spiritual truth from that point onwards. And during the workshop, the collar came off. Okay, now this is spiritually significant. Okay, it wasn't just for the people that were attending the workshop with Alice and I. This has happened worldwide, and it's happened because the collective frequency of truth has risen, because we have all stepped into a state of empowerment where we speak our truth via the heart. Okay, and you can see the evidence of this all around, and it's almost like little baby steps. It's almost like we are treading forwards, having just learnt to walk and beginning to speak with love from the heart center. You can hear it in the light language, and my good friend Paul Debris Carey has got such a beautiful view of light language and such in-depth knowledge of it. And when we first start speaking it, it's like baby words, nu, ta, ra, all describing different aspects of the languages that are coming through. But as with all muscles, as with everything that needs exercising and growing, it takes practice, it takes time, it takes continual effort and focus to widen the channel so all of the languages and all of the words begin to pour through. And I've heard such wonderful examples recently of people who have really managed to grow that channel, and so the language flows with precision, with perfection, and the words and the vocabulary are growing. The mixture of elemental star factors that come into, and all the different languages of light all kind of being amalgamated and brought into reality. It's a beautiful thing to listen to, and it's a beautiful thing to witness. But most incredible is the fact that we now have been handed the incredible responsibility of a throat chakra without restrictions. And that does not mean to say that we are utterly free to say whatever we want when we feel like it, regardless of the consequences. Quite the opposite. In fact, there is a bit of a distorted belief in the spiritual field that it is the done thing to speak whatever's on your mind, you know, to just blurt it out, regardless of the consequences or the triggers that may be guiding the words and the impact that it will have on the person receiving it. And the same is with the passing round of information. You know, we find something that maybe triggers us on social media, that flares up our survival instincts, and we immediately believe that we need to share that so that we can awaken the other people and therefore bring them into that particular field, which is usually fueled by fear. And so with power comes great responsibility. Okay, so every word we speak needs to be crafted from a point of love. And I know this is a drum that I've been beating for a while, but now I know why I've been beating it, because we have had the original uncorrupted template of the spoken word restored at fifth dimensional frequency, which means that when we stand in our power, in our truth, in our mighty I am presence, and we focus solely on bringing that voice through to speak from the heart center, those words are so incredibly powerful. The light language will increase in vibration exponentially. When we say something with conviction, with power, with strength, with honor, with love, anchored in that mighty I am presence, whether it is no, whether it is yes, whether it's an agreement, whether it is something that you are observing from a point of love, this has the power to reconstruct everything at the highest frequency possible. And we're really going to get the opportunity to be tested in that ability, because when the frequency takes a big jump, as it has done recently, I mean, I don't think any of us will ever look back on June, July and August this year and go, oh, that was easy, or nothing really happened. You know, it has been the one of the most memorable years that I've encountered so far, and we're still well away from it being over. But on a collective level, there are many of us that are feeling that there is going to be a big push, a kind of like a concerted and somewhat panicked effort from the 3D matrix again to retain power. And with things that are occurring within us as the light community, with the quantity of responsibility and light that we are reclaiming at the moment, we do see this pushback occurring, because we are still in duality, and will still be in duality until we have anchored fully everywhere on Gaia, Mother Earth, the fifth dimensional frequencies, and that begins with us. Okay, we're the anchor points. The trees and the plants and the animals and everything else around us, they already hold that frequency, but we are the physical moving anchor points that need to make sure that all of this blends and bonds together with clinical precision. So we're going to get the opportunity to be witnessing things that are occurring around us, and we also have the opportunity to be, in many cases, and again this is something I've spoken about, lovingly non-compliant. There's a lot of anger and a lot of outrage continuously, and has been for the last 3 years in social media, about the dastardly deeds of the clown show in 3D, doing this and doing that and implementing and all of the other kind of snuffling nefarious things that they get up to. And the simple answer to all of this is to simply just say no. Okay, you know, it doesn't have to be noisy, it doesn't have to be dramatic, it doesn't have to come with a huge carnival of I'm doing this, I'm doing that. You just simply say no. Okay, and the power of an individual no is very, very strong. Power of a collective no is absolute. Okay, so we are looking to say no from the heart with utter conviction, standing in our mighty I am presence, and then just go about our business doing what we do best, which is light work, creating a more beautiful, better environment to live in without engaging in all of the drama that is going on around us. And the drama is inevitable, okay, at this period of time, because with the level of shadow work that is being drawn up on this planet, you know, you could even liken it to the jet washing in the deepest places, the Akash that's going on this world. So individually and collectively, everything that was hidden is now visible and being witnessed. Okay, so it's all going to be revealed, and how we speak about it, how we respond to it, how we deal with it is entirely down to us. So on that note, on that happy note, because I am happy about this, I mean, I'm so overjoyed to have witnessed two major things occurring in such a short space of time. The activation of the higher heart on the Lion's Gate, the 8th of the 8th, and also the removal of the Atlantean Collar, because people have been struggling with this for years. Okay, and it does come with initiations. Okay, so if you're gonna remove the collar, you have to do things in order to remove that collar, like speak your truth from love. And many of us have been put in some very uncomfortable situations where we've had to stand up, and we've had to speak, and we've had to be visible, and we've had to do things that just literally make us kind of die inside at the time. But on the other side of it, we feel empowered, we feel strong, and we've cleared a collective blockage or karma or wound that's been in occurrence for hundreds, maybe thousands of years, where we've been punished for speaking our truth. Because that is something that is still, you can see it going on in society today. All the kind of the 3D cancel culture where people speak, and it's like if it doesn't align with the narrative, then there's a scramble to shut it all down. This is just, it's a containment issue. It's a 3D containment issue where they're all in panic mode, because the truth will always reveal itself no matter what. Now, I've got a workshop tonight, which I'm really looking forward to. I'm going to be taking a journey to the Temple of the Sun and the Temple of the Moon. Again, the platform is Golden Atlantis. Okay, we travel back to that particular space and time, which is very much in existence and in alignment with the world that we're creating at the moment. And we've got some work to do there. Okay, it's going to be a fun ride, so please join me if you feel guided to do so. And I will be going live at 7 PM UK time. Sending you all so much love. Thank you for being here with me this morning, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.